Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's Bebop here. Today's video is going to be about, do perks and gear score matter for the Gorgon Raid? Now, what I did was went to the store, bought the cheapest gear I could find that was level 700 with no enchanted ward or any great perks that might help me out. And I wanted to see if I ran the hive like this with no protection and 25 con, how would I do? Now, our tank, he ended up running a little different setup. He went low gear score, so he went 650 gear score, and I will show his gear up on the screen now. This is the tank set that he got out of the store. It has enchanted ward and slash conditioning, enchanted ward slash conditioning. You know, you see the low gear scores here. His overall gear score is 640, and he will be tanking this hive and wearing this throughout the whole dungeon. And the gear score of the shield really doesn't matter, but he ended up getting a different shield, I think, with strike protection. Yeah, fortified shield rush, strike protection. If you're a tank looking for a good shield, hey, and you run shield rush, there you go. It's a really good one. Now, my stats were 25, 350, 212, 25, 25, okay? So I ended up buying a piece that I could find that was split stack. It had a certain amount of dex and then cons, and really, if I went any other piece in the market for that, it was going to be several thousand gold, and I wasn't going to spend that for the video. So ended up having like 21 con or something, like whatever it was. So I just went up to 25 con. Big con over here. I'm like a tank basically, right? So the main part of this, or the point of the video, would be to talk about gatekeeping, right? A lot of people message me, I can't get into a hive being gate kept, and I can't get in there because of my gear, and I don't know how to get better gear. I don't have a Gorgon token. Well, first of all, if people are saying link for, you know, and link your token, that is the dumbest. You probably don't want to join that group anyways. That is a dumb measurement of what a person can do, because there's plenty of noobs that will get carried through a Gorgon hive, have the token, and they still completely suck. All right. Now, the better way to judge a player would be to look at the gear, see if they have enchanted ward pieces, see if they have the right weapon perks to complement their weapons. Let's see what weapons they're using and what perks that may have upgraded their artifact with. Now, if they artifact the, let's say, artifact rapier with enchanted or sturdy, well, you know, that's probably a player that don't know what they're doing. They might be new, learning, or they just might not know what they're doing. You can use that as a measure. I do it all the time when I do public hives and set up public hives. I'll look for the gear, and then also sometimes I might ask what your attributes you're running with that setup. That's going to let me know where they are as a player. If they're saying I'm running, you know, 100 con, blah, blah, blah. All right, I already know you're a new player, you're learning, you're kind of worried about getting killed, so you go the higher con. In this hive, you need to be a low con. If you think you can come into the hive and be higher con, we veteran players can see what your con is based off your damage, based off the hit you take, and we will be able to know about what your con is, okay? If you take an explosion and you still have more than half health, we already know you're probably over 100 con, and it's going to be troublesome on the second boss. The first boss is all about mechanics, the second boss is all about DPS, and the third boss is about teamwork. So really, for the second boss is where you need to be the low con. The first boss, you can kind of fudge it, you know, but let's get in there and let's actually do some damage. All right, for the people that are being quote-unquote gate kept, I'm going to defend the gatekeepers really quickly here. I want to explain what this whole situation is about. There are a lot of people that will say I'm being gate kept from this. You can form your own hive group. I do it all the time on my stream. I'll go, hey, you know, chat, let's get a public lobby going. Sometimes I'll check gear, sometimes I won't check gear, because sometimes I just want to see what will happen. It's kind of exciting. You are not being gate kept. You just refuse to create your own group and look through the gear and actually set it up yourself. Let's get that out there and let's talk about it. You are the one gatekeeping yourself. The people that are looking for gear and have some standards are just that. They have standards. There's a difference. If I'm looking at gear and I want you to have enchanted ward pieces, like 3 or 4 at least, to help protect yourself, it's because I know that that's going to be very important in the hive. Unless you know the mechanics and you ran the hive a lot and you are a really good player that can go without that, but still, you still want that. The whole purpose of me not having enchanted ward here in this video is just kind of show, once you get used to the hive enough and you run it enough, then you can actually know the mechanics, know when the hits are coming, and actually survive while still doing good. But for a baseline, when we get people, Nindy's doing a great job over there. If you don't know the tank gear, his name is Nindy. I'll put his Twitch in the comments or in the description, so be sure to check both of those. If you didn't know, he sets up hives on Draco, so that's an EU Central server. So on Draco, if you're a new player, you can easily find him on Twitch, and you can go into his Discord and sign up to run beginner learner hives. Free, nothing it costs. If you want to donate something for all of us that are using codings and stuff to help try to carry and teach, that's fine. He didn't ask that. That's me. That's basically me saying, hey, donate some codings, Breck. I'm trying to rank up that character right now. And get it going, but we do carry some new players through. So anyways, you could join up free, go sign up for hives. He runs hives nonstop every day for many hours on his stream, and I join every now and then and help out when I can, going through people's gear and just seeing what we can improve on. Now, a lot of times he doesn't even check gear, but we're starting to establish a little basically training program where we look at your gear, we say, okay, this is good or this is not good, and here's where you should improve, but it's good enough to maybe run. Let's go out there, let's learn. If you die, no big deal, but let's go out there and have some fun. All right, and we will get in some trap runs that are just completely bad, and then, you know, I will have to probably get a little angry and go through some people's gear more fine-tooth comb and what your con is. But I'm in charge of the second group, and I'm the swordsman in the second group, so sword and shield with spear, a bleeding sweep spear. And I will be leading the second group comms and just trying to go over when you should block, when you should dodge, when you should, you know, do whatever you got to do throughout the fight. So if you're interested in that, feel free to either create a new character on Draco. You can rank up really quick and easy, and join us for hives just non-stop, and you can learn. We are very beginner friendly. Nindy's probably the most beginner friendly streamer out there. Now, I'm beginner friendly for like 3 minutes, all right, max. And then I'm gonna get on your ass, bro, because I want you to do good. All right, I gotta push to get some results sometimes, you know. So don't be afraid of it. It's just gonna be you know what happens. But anyways, you are not being gatekept. You're keeping yourself from forming your own group. It's not hard. Just go into recruitment chat, say starting a fresh hive, link me your gear, or hey, starting a fresh hive, looking for a tank, looking for a healer, looking for DPS. People will say, hey, X up for this. Then you can go and form your own groups. You don't even have to check gear if you don't want to, and then you can see how much fun that is. All right, then you will start to realize why you need to check some gear. If you have 6 fire staff players, good luck with that. And that brings me to another thing. Group comp is a big issue. I will be coming out with a group comp video to how to set up a hive if you're new and want to set up a group because you say you're being gatekept and you don't really know what type of weapon combos you need. I will be working on a video for that very soon, and that's going to show you how to set up a hive, or at least a public hive, not where you got spreadsheets of every little rend and data, but basically a very simple concept of what you need to look for and the type of players you need to get with what weapons to have a successful hive. All right, here we are at the second boss, and I will tell you this boss is really annoying when you're playing Evade Rapier and you don't have any cooldowns, you don't have refreshing. I think I had 1 refreshing, okay, but when you don't have refreshing with the rapier, oh, it's brutal. Oh, it's carpal tunnel syndrome, baby. But we actually ended up pulling this stuff together. We had some people die out to eyes and stuff here and there. So I'm kind of going to go talk through this fight. I really want to let the video play, but I kind of just want to go over some things here. The boss is spawning the mobs right now, and what you want to do is rotate to the birds first, and I like to have as many people as you can on vines. My dumb self forgot to bring in vines, so hey, learn from my mistake. But you want to bring in as many vines as you can to help pin down the enemies, because man, those birds be hopping back and moving. So that will really help you, and if you can upgrade your vines to rending vines, that's going to rend the enemy, and it's also going to weaken them, and so you're going to be able to do more damage to them, and they're going to hit you a little bit softer. Any rend you can add to those enemies would be great. Right here, you need to be doing DPS, and then listen for that sound, know the timing, and roll out if you have the eyes or not, okay? If you go and you stand behind the pillar that whole time, you're losing a lot of DPS. This is a DPS check. The least amount of times you can have those vines like that spawn and you can get through this fight quicker is better. Okay, so when he goes in the middle, you need to go in there, do a little bit of damage, count to 2 or 3 seconds, roll out to see if you got the eyes really quickly, and then roll back in. That will give you a little buffer on if you get the eyes, you can get to the poles immediately, get about 2 or 3 feet back so you don't get killed, and you'll be good to go. Too many people standing behind the pillars waiting, and that's a DPS loss. Another thing, if you are a healer and you sign up for this, you need to be very proficient with the Void Gauntlet, so you can Void Blade, and you need to be very proficient with the Flail, so you can extend all debuffs. And one healer will have the Flail, one healer will have Void Blade. The healer that has Void Blade will also run Rupture, and that way everybody can be healing while hitting the boss, another form of healing. You will throw down your heals when you can with the Life Staff and immediately go to Void Blade, Rupture, and Oblivion. And you're going to spam Oblivion as much as you can, because without Oblivion, this fight takes way too long and it's way too hard to kill all the enemies. Not only that, healers, you have the Void Blade. When you go and the spiders spawn, they will come after you first because you are a healer. If you take them to the mobs, everybody else can join in killing them. DPS, be aware of the spiders. Help your healers out, please. Okay, if you've never healed as a DPS, you don't know how annoying it is having the spiders on your butt all the time and no one cares. They're slowing the healers and they're doing thrust damage, and it's just a lot of damage. So just try to take those out when they're close to the mob. Healers, take those close to the mob so the DPS can do that. DPS, try to help them out. But you also have the Void Blade that will heal you and provide you some good damage, okay? So as long as you're doing damage to the spiders, you should be just fine. If you are a healer in here and you're just sitting back healing with your Life Staff, you are completely wrong. And that's fine because you're probably learning, so I'm just trying to be a little harsh here. But you're completely wrong, and you need to get proficient with the Void Blade and the Flail. That's where you want to be at this level in the Hive, okay? We need Oblivion constantly. And now you could designate a DPS to do that if you want, but healers should be doing that. And as a healer, it's more fun to heal and do damage, being an additional DPS basically, than it is to sit back with the Life Staff and get picked on by the mobs. Tanks in this situation need to know the timing of the mobs. So when the tank takes the boss away from the mobs, there needs to be internal timing going off in the tank's head of, I need to start going back toward the middle to bring the boss back to the DPS, closer to the DPS. Because if we are on one side of the little square here and we are DPSing the mobs and the tank's way across the other side, we got to run way over there to then do DPS, resume DPS, and then we have to go to the middle, wait for eyes, and then it's just too much. So if you can try to have that internal timer to bring the boss back to the middle, most of the time he'll follow, some of the times he won't. It just is what it is, but you're doing your best job as tank. Then that's what you need to do. Too many times we're having to run really far to reach them. It's really difficult as a tank. It is what it is. But, you know, just try to keep that in your head, tanks. Ooh, Bebop went down to the vines. Oh, Nitty with the res. You can be my hero, baby. Nitty can take away the pain. He's my Enrique Iglesias. If you know that reference, you old. All right. So here we are on the final phase. I always say don't even go for mobs on this final phase. Just try to melt the boss. But Nindy, we like to basically teach go after the wolves first, or that's what he likes to teach, and that's perfectly fine. Either way works. A lot of times if you don't go after the mobs and you don't have the DPS, you're going to get everybody killed. So with the learning crew, it's probably better to go after the wolves first, see what other mobs you can get. But they are really strong right now, and there's a lot of damage usually going on here. It can get really dangerous, and you need a lot of people at this end boss fight. And sometimes people have already died out to the spikes on the second part, so it can get hairy. Jesus. If you clear one mobs, don't go after any more. All right. Right now, we should not be worried about any more mobs after that first wave. You need to be focused on the boss only, or else you're pretty much dead. So right here, you can see no one's doing DPS on the boss but myself. Everybody's just standing around looking. That's a DPS loss on this final phase. That should not be happening, but everybody was scared about eyes. That's just new players learning. No problem there. But you want to be on the boss. So we're going to be cutting it close here. You also got to keep in your mind for the vines. I was just about to say the vines are about to spawn. You got to keep in mind the timing for the vines, and then try to roll back to the boss on the third vine pop, okay? You want to try to round yourself to where you can get closer to the boss to continue DPS. Right here, I was amazed that actually people went to the mobs. You're supposed to be on the boss here, not the mobs. It's a waste of time. There's like a bar of health left on the boss. This could easily get a lot of people killed. Just go after the boss here. I guess I wasn't in Discord, or I think a lot of people weren't in Discord for this one, and so the communication was just absolutely terrible there. Also have vines in the middle, so that's kind of bad. And now we're down to one pillar left. All right, should be on the boss doing DPS right now. Too many people are scared and they're away. I did the little rollout to check and see if I had eyes just in case. Did not. We're good. And now it's back to DPS time. Now, knowing that the mobs are going to probably spawn quick, we got to melt them down because we don't want another wave of that. And it looks like we're going to kill them just fine here. And that is the second boss fight in a nutshell. You did. All right, let's go to the final boss here. Actually, before we do that, here's a little trick if you want. I got out early and went ahead and flipped my magnified icon. And I'm going to grab all these mobs and I'm just going to aggro them and bring them back to where everybody is. And you're going to see what happens here. This is a really good way to help speed up the run. Just have someone come up here. It could be DPS or tank, whatever. Aggro all the mobs. Hopefully get out of there safe and don't get hit. Ooh, breathe. That's why you flip your magnified icon right there. And then you just bring them down. Everybody knows not to hit these mobs. And don't throw a heal. I mean, you could throw a heal, but if I take damage, they're going to go right after you. And if you just bring them back here, they will die out and you don't even have to worry about fighting them. And then the rest of the crew can just go up and do their thing. All right, here we are at the final boss. I ended up keeping the same gear on, added a bow, and then adjusted my stats. 350 dex, 25 strength, 25 focus, 25 con, and the rest int. And went ahead and kept the rapier just in case we have any mob spawn. I can do my riposte if needed to, because they usually roly-poly right after me because I'm usually the one doing more damage. And I swear I get aggro on those things so quickly. So I like to have the rapier with the riposte just in case they come after me. On this final boss, like I always say, if you have everybody up to Fountain 2 right there that we're at right now, then you got the stage, Fountain 3 where the tank is, and then Fountain 4 back where the healer is, Becky back there. Then if everybody's up here next to the stage, then it's a lot easier to put down the Oblivion so everybody has it and the heals into one spot. But you know, staying right here is also good too with new players, because if you have to throw a cleanse, everybody is right next to two fountains, so they can easily be cleansed. So that can work too. You just have to watch out for the vines coming off the flowers, or the spikes basically coming off the flowers, hitting you right here, because they will do that. And then pay attention to the fog, because sometimes it's not going to show up on your screen, so you just need to be aware of that. This boss you can just go fully range on and be just fine. That's usually what we do. If you have a spear, run up there every now and then, perforate, skewer, whatever to help the tank out. Or if you're a tank, just carry a spear on you. You can feebly skewer and rend the boss. You know, the hammer's going to have more rend, so, you know, if you can just take the damage, hey, you're good to go. But also, if you're a bow player, maybe have enfeebling poison shot to help weaken the boss, to help the tank. So, you know, all those things. I find penetrating rapid shots works really well on this boss. This boss does not have a back, so the penetrating shots really seem to get a lot more criticals, obviously, and it helps out with damage, especially on the flowers too. But basically, that was the whole point of this video, to show you that, you know, if you get your skill high enough, you don't necessarily need the best perks in the world. You don't need the best gear. You don't need the highest gear score. So it shouldn't be gate kept, quote unquote, on gear score and all that. But then if you feel like you're being gate kept, just create your own group, and I can show you how to do that in another video. Now, if you tune in my live streams, you'll see that pretty much all the time. So either way, I stream almost every day. Feel free to stop by if you want. Feel free to check out Nindy. He's doing a great job over there on Draco. I'm on Draco also, and I'm basically maining Draco server for now on, guys. I won't be playing Rosa server until the new OPR maps or the new OPR map comes out, because the ping on American servers is a lot better for me, obviously, than Euro. But the amount of friends I have over there on the Euro, plus the, you know, Hive runs, teaching and stuff I really enjoy, plus the M3s, and that's where I'm gonna end up being. So if you're on Draco, feel free to hit us up anytime. Join us. We'll have some fun and stop by the stream. All right, I appreciate y'all hanging out. Hopefully you learned something here, and I'll see you in the next video. If you have any questions or suggestions on a video idea, feel free to leave in the comment. I answer them all back, and I'll see y'all then.